Hello my dear students, welcome to Botany class. How are you everybody? Hope you all are well and safe. Today I am starting a new chapter, that is coordination in plants. So today's topic is coordination in plants from chapter 10. Coordination in plants is brought about by certain chemical substances which are synthesized by plants in very small amounts. These are known as plant hormones or phytohormones. In plants, phytohormones helps to coordinate growth, development and responses to the environment. They are synthesized at place away from their place of action. Then they are simply diffused to the target organ. So phytohormones are the biochemical substance which is produced in the plant's body and regulates growth and development of the plants is called phytohormone. Plants do not have special glands for producing hormones. They also lack a circulatory system to distribute the hormones quickly to different parts. Every cell of a plant has the ability to produce hormone. The main natural phytohormones are of two types, mainly growth promoter and growth inhibitor. Growth promoter are auxins, cytokinins and gibberellins, and growth inhibitors are abscisic acid and ethylene. Besides this hormone, there are some other hormones which could not be separated or identified. They are also called postulated hormones. Postulated hormones mainly help activities related to the development of flowers and reproductive organs. The postulated hormones are florigen and vanillin. Florigen and vanillin formed in the leaves and being translocated to the base of the petiole and transform the vegetative buds into floral buds. So these two hormones helps a plant in its flowering. Now I will explain the different phytohormones. First one is auxin. Auxin is the best known plant hormone. The auxin is a plant hormone which is produced in the stem, bud and root tip that promotes cell elongation. Everybody see the figure. In the figure, when light shine on one side of the coleoptiles, that means this one is a coleoptiles. The germinating part of the plants is called coleoptiles. In the first figure, when light is overheaded, the indole acetic acid, here is IAA means indole acetic acid, is one kind of auxin. When sunlight is overheaded, the indole acetic acid molecules produced by the apical meristems are distributed evenly in the shoot. But in the figure 2, when sunlight shines on one side of the stem, the concentration of the indole acetic acid is increased at one side and movement of plant shoot occurs towards the light. When movement of plant shoot or stem moves towards the light, the growth of the cells takes place. Now let's see the functions of auxin. The main functions is to help plants grow, and auxin stimulates plant cell to elongate. Initiates the formation of root from grafted bud. As plant hormone, auxin is used in grafting of mango, lychee, guava plants, etc. Helps to produce seedless fruit, and the production of seedless fruit is called parthenocarpy. The rate of transpiration and osmosis is increased due to the auxin hormone. They are used in agriculture and horticulture to have a specific effect. In plant cell, the movement of auxin happens downwards. If in the figure If the apical bud is removed, we know that oxygen present at the apex of the stem, and if the apical bud is removed, the oxygen flows downwardly and thus produces many auxiliary bud. For example, tea plants. In tea plants, if apical bud is removed, many auxiliary bud produces. In this way, the tree character of tree plants is ceased to bushy nature and production of bud, therefore the production of tea is increases for the auxin hormones. Inhibit growth of lateral bud, maintains the apical dominance. Now let's see the another phytohormones is gibberellin. Gibberellins are plant hormones that regulates various developmental processes including stem elongation, germination, dormancy, flowering, flower development, leaf and fruit senescence. Most of the gibberellins are found in mature seeds, but they also are traced in seedlings, cotyledon and meristematic regions of the leaves. Now let's see the function of gibberellins. Elongation of internodes are influenced by this hormone, so the plants grow excessively in length. If this hormone is applied to a stunted plant, it grows more in length than a normal plant would. It plays a role in blooming flowers and in shortening the period of dormancy in seeds and in germination processes. Now let's see the another phytohormone is cytokinins. Cytokinin are plant specific hormones that play a central role in the regulation of the plant cell cycle and numerous developmental processes. Cytokinin is found in fruits, cereal and the water of green coconut. It also found in the roots of some plants. Function of cytokinin. These generally stimulate the processes of cell division and mixed in different level of concentration with oxygen. Function. Cytokinins are the plant growth hormone that promotes cell division or cytokinesis in plants root and shoot. Here cytokinesis means cyto means cytoplasm and kinesis means division, that is division of cytoplasm, and breaks the dormancy of seeds and organ and delaying the aging processes. During cell division, cytokinesis occurs in a cell because of the effect of cytokinin hormones. Now another one is ethylene hormone. Ethylene is a growth inhibitor hormone. Ethylene is a hormone that affects the ripening and flowering of many plants. It is widely used to control the freshness in horticulture and fruits. Ethylene mostly found in fruits, flowers, seeds, leaves and root. Ethylene is a gaseous substance. It also helps to fruit ripen. Now function of ethylene. It helps the ripening of fruits. Ethylene breaks the dormancy in seed and bud and helps seedling to grow. Ethylene accelerates the shading of the leaves, flowers and fruit, and it also used to ripening fruit artificially. Now let us talk about photoperiodism. The effect of light and temperature on the development of different organs of the plant is remarkable. The flowering of most plants depends on photoperiod. Photoperiod is the combination of two words. Photo means light and period means duration of time. So photoperiod means duration of light. It is experimentally proved that flowering depends on photoperiod. Photoperiod is the most favorable light period for flowering of plants. For example, the chrysanthemum is a short day plant. Long day light causes inhibition to their flowering, and the rhythm of light and dark period in a plant is called biological clock. And it is known that the length of day and night changes in different seasons of the year. In summer time, days are long and nights are short. In winter, it is just opposite of summer. So, we can say that on the basis of the rhythm of light and dark in plants, plants can be categorized into three. These are short day plants, long day plants, and day neutral plants. Short day plants is the plants which require short day period and long dark period for the flowering is called short day plants. And average daily photo period of short day plants is 8 to 12 hours is required for flowering. Flowering does not occur when the plant is exposed to light for some time during the dark period, that is, if the dark period is interrupted by single exposure of light, there will be no flowering. Long day plants. The plants which required long day period and short dark period for the flowering is called long day plants. And average daily photo period of 12 to 16 hours is required for the flowering. Short dark period is necessary for the plants of flowering. Day neutral plants. The plants which have no definite day or light period for flowering. Flowering occurs in any length of day or dark period like chili, coconut, papaya, brinjal, pumpkin, etc. are the day neutral plants. In this group of plants, the length of day and night do not have any definite influence of flowering. Flowering takes place after vegetative growth of the plants. They can be grown any times of the year. Leaves receive the stimulation of photoperiods. Now let's see the vernalization process. Vernalization. Vernalization is the process by the application this process flowering of plants is accelerates. Like light, cold also plays a role in the growth of plants and flowering in them. If cold is applied to the germinating seeds of many plants, their flowering period get advanced. So vernalization is the acceleration of flowering of plants by applying cold treatment is called vernalization. Vernalization induces on germinating seed or young seedlings. They are kept in low temperature, usually 2 to 5 degrees centigrade for some days, thus cold treatment completed, and normal flowering occurs in them. The apical meristematic cell of plumule or seedlings receive stimulation of vernalization. Vernalization is very important process. By the application vernalization in Russia, the biennial wheat is converted to annual one by this process. In our country, large number of paddy is being destroyed by flood. If the flowering time of paddy be accelerated by 5 to 10 days, then it will be possible to protect the paddy from flood. So vernalization process is very important for our country. Now let us talk about the movement of plants. Like other living organisms, plants are able to perceive stimuli. This is why the reflex made by external and internal stimuli causes movement in plants. Some movement in plants happen because of growth, and other movements occurs in plants because of external and internal stimuli. Movement always occurs due to some factors. Movement in plants can be divided into two categories. First one is movement of locomotion. That means when any part of plant holistically moves from one place to another place is called movement of locomotion. Here holistically move means the whole body of the plant part move one place to another place. This type of movement found in the gamete and zoospore of some fungi and higher plants. It is also found in some bacteria, algae like Volvox, Chlamydomonas, etc. And second one is movement of curvature. Movement of curvature are of four types. First one is phototropism. Here photo means light and tropism means movement. When the plant part move towards the light, it is called phototropism. In this figure, the plant's part responds to the light. This one is called phototropism. Another one is called chemotropism. It is a growth movement of a plant part in response to the chemical stimuli. Growth of pollen tube towards the ovule is the example of chemotropism. In the figure, pollen tube, this one is a pollen tube, moves towards the ovule. It is called chemotropism. Third one is geotropism. Geo means earth and tropism means movement of plant part. So, movement of plants in response to the gravity is called geotropism. The roots of plants always moves towards the earth. This one is a positive geotropism. And last one is hydrotropism. Hydro means water and tropism means movement of plant part. So, movement of plants in response to water is called hydrotropism. Growth of roots towards the water is hydrotropism. In the figure, the roots moves the source of water, it is called hydrotropism. Okay everybody, today up to this. Thank you.